Good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adriana.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything, trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hopefully everyone's having a good, positive time out there.
Yeah.
Positive vibes.
Yeah.
Bring in the positive vibes. Or if you're not and you're needing to lift me up, welcome.
Yes. Today's stories are not like mind-blowing, but they're just sweet little pick-me-ups. I feel like. Yeah, they're just nice little...
Disappointed. Turn off the episode.
No.
Just kidding. Please don't. Please don't. I am kidding. If you're new, I'm like this sometimes.
They're just little things that I read and I was like, oh, that's cute, or oh, that's sweet, and just kind of gave me a little boost. So I'm
need
excited
that sometimes.
to share that. Yeah, sometimes we don't need super deep stories. Sometimes we just need ones that are going to just make you smile. So here we go. Our first one today, well, I guess I should say what the episode's about. It's all about
that would be a good place to start.
Giving others kudos and recognition. So it's really important in life to...
Good job at doing that.
What?
I'm giving you kudos.
Oh, thanks. So at saying what it's about?
Yeah.
Thank you. I almost
See,
forgot.
that's how it's the kudos part is done.
But yeah.
This is a weird vibes episode. I'm feeling it now. Give me weird vibes.
Sure. But yeah, it's important to recognize people for things that they do in our lives and be willing to, take that little extra step to give them kudos or recognition. I feel like we've talked about this before on the podcast, but I can't reiterate it enough. It really means a lot to people when you give them recognition for things, even if it's something super small. It really can make your day that much better. So to start our episode, we have a post from the subreddit Benign Existence, and it is titled, "A few years ago, a cashier said one of the kindest things to me that I'd ever heard in my life, and I'll never forget it." Here we go.
From a cashier.
From a cashier.
Interesting.
Here we go. "I was reminded of this recently, and I wanted to share it. I was once in a grocery store checking out, and I had my daughter with me. She was, I want to say, 2 years old at the time, and she was being adorable. I got up to the cashier, and my daughter babbled something and smiled, and the following interaction happened. Cashier: She looks like a sweetie. Me: She is. She's a total charmer. Cashier: Aw, she must have her father's heart. To be clear, I am said father. I don't know why, but this felt like the absolute nicest thing that a complete stranger had ever said to me. It had no irony to it whatsoever, and it was not a saying I'd ever heard before, so it seemed like she said it off the cuff and really meant it. My eyes got teary and I told her, that is the absolute nicest thing I've heard in such a long time. Thank you so much, you're absolutely wonderful." Or something like that. I told her that I was completely taken aback by someone saying something so kind, and that made us both smile and chuckle. I wanted to hug her, but there was a counter between us, and I didn't want to make her uncomfortable either. Mm-hmm. But I did everything I could to let her know how much that meant to me in the minute or so she was in my life. I'll absolutely never forget that. It got me through the rest of the day. Edit. Wow, I say absolutely a lot. This is a wake-up call. Which, side note, is so funny, editing these podcasts. I do that to myself, too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I say that phrase so often. Or I say that word so often. So I get it, OP. I get it 1,000,000%.
Listening back to yourself on the podcast is rough.
It's hard.
Like hearing yourself. Hearing myself on the podcast.
It's so hard. I do that constantly. But anyways.
Everyone's got their isms.
True. But isn't that a sweet story? It's just so cute. Little thing. I mean, the cashier probably didn't think it would mean that much to this person because they were just saying you must have a heart like their father's. That's not a huge thing necessarily to say, but clearly he needed to hear that.
And also, way to take that compliment for your kid, because I feel like a common response could be oh, here she's nice, but at home, let me tell you, she's the devil.
Accepting a compliment is part of the act of of the compliment giving.
Yeah, because I know I've had compliments thrown my way sometimes, and then I won't say which parent, but then they find other reasons why I'm actually not deserving of that compliment, and I'm like, why would they gave the compliment? Just take it. Why
Accept
are you
compliment.
Just spiking out of the air no, denied? But no, that dad just took the compliment yep, she's a sweetie.
Yeah.
And then got upped even more by that nice compliment.
Yeah, super super cool. So yeah, again, none of these are earth-shattering, but it's just little things that make a huge impact to people. So here's the next one. This one comes from the subreddit Made Me Smile, and this is a picture of a letter. And it says, "Dear Sarah, this is a little bit awkward, but I've waited a really long time to pass this on to you. My wife and I came in for haircuts shortly before Christmas of last year. My wife was suffering from dementia, and you treated her as if you'd been working with dementia patients all your life. You let us sit next to each other, and when it came time for her haircut, you turned her chair towards me so I could watch her expression as you cut her hair. It turned out even better than I thought it would. Sadly, she died in March, and that haircut was one of the last best moments of her life. She felt so pretty. She visited the mirror in her bathroom several times during the day and would come out beaming. To see her so happy was priceless. Looking back, it was likely one of dozens of haircuts you gave that day, but one which revitalized a woman's sense of self and her singular beauty. I hope you always realize the power of your profession. It is so easy to take things like that for granted. Sincerely, a grateful customer." Yeah.
That's nice.
That one really hit me in the feels. Yeah, it's just,
You never know when.
you don't know how you're impacting people.
It's also weird to think that like in any interaction you have with somebody could be their last interaction with anybody.
Right. And so,
Which is kind of like when you stop and think about things like that for a moment, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so much pressure to,
yeah.
you know, or to take it as encouragement to like try to be as, you know, a positive and good experience as possible with whoever you interact with. 'Cause you never know what they're going through or what's going to happen, you know?
Right. My mom and I were having this conversation a couple weeks ago about, you know, how it's so easy to feel really insignificant and be like, what is my purpose? Because, I mean, we don't always have mass significance. You don't know like the importance of the little things, of how significant those can be in just day-to-day things like this, like giving someone a haircut. You're just doing your job and being kind and being gentle and being, you know, like just being a good person. And this interaction clearly, you know, was really significant to these people, that enough that they wrote a thank you letter. And so, yeah, don't ever underestimate your significance in the world, because your little things that you do can really make a huge impact on somebody. Even if it's just one person, that might change their whole view of how they treat people. You know what I mean? There's just so many like butterfly effects that can happen that seemingly a small event started. And we've seen that in the podcast too. Like there's been people who have submitted stories like where they talked about that kind of exact thing, where someone did a nice thing for them and then that encouraged them to go out and do things. Like there's just so many ideas like that in all of these stories of things that have been a little act that then spiraled into something greater. So yeah, and when you are impacted by that, to remind people that they are significant, kudos and recognition, even in a form of a letter, is a great way of doing that. To let them know that you might not think that your job, being a hair cutter or whatever it is that significant, but it was to us. It's important. On to our next story. This next one comes from the subreddit Benign Existence, and it is titled, "My mom told me and my husband that we're good parents." My mom watches our toddler a few days a week, and when she comes to pick him up, she'll usually hang out for a bit, so it's an easier transition and not an, okay, here's the kid, bye. My husband and I ended up playing some silly game with our son that ended with us giving him kisses and raspberries while he laughed hysterically. And my mom said, "I just gotta say, you two really are such great parents to him." It's not like we thought that we weren't good parents or that my mom disapproved of our parenting, but we were genuinely touched by her saying it. It's a few days later, and my husband still says it's making him smile.
Well, I feel like parenting is such a thing that like gets...
It's a thankless job.
Well, thankless. I was going to say, like, I feel like it's one of the most susceptible jobs to judgment.
True.
Because there's so many different ways to parent, even by generation or with just different styles of parenting coming out. Like, someone sees a kid running around like, oh, like, wow, and then their parents are up to, or they doing. Like, there's a lot of judgment thrown at different parents and stuff. And so, you know, including from your own parents, you know, because like maybe you're raising them differently than you were raised. Again,
right.
Part of that generational thing as well.
Yeah.
So to like get those kind of compliments, it's got to feel really good, because it's not a compliment that's given out very often, I don't feel.
It's true. I
feel like that and customer service are the two that kind of get ragged, just being a parent and you know, giving customer service.
It's true. All right, on to our next story here. This one comes from the subreddit Today I Am Happy, and it is titled, "Today I'm happy because I got thanked for cleaning the litter out of my neighborhood." Here we go. Earlier today, I thought about rewatching WALL-E for the nostalgia, but after finishing it, something told me that our Earth would end up just like the one in the movie if we didn't clean it up fast enough. I decided, probably. I decided that I would help save our environment by switching off the lights when they weren't needed, kept my TV off, and recycled the heck out of what I had in my room, also making things like little funnels and pencil cups out of plastic bottles. I thought that wasn't enough though, so I ended up putting on some cheesy shirt and denim shorts, whipping out some disposable gloves, 2 large trash bags, a grabber, and kept a bandana around my neck before heading out to clean up any sort of litter I saw. I ended up spending hours walking around and picking up trash from ditches to public parks to docks, getting my hands all gross and grimy, getting every bit of trash I saw in the lakes, just doing my thing. Everyone that drove by me took a good look at me before smiling every time. Several people called out to me and thanked me as I stuffed water bottles and Bud Light cans into my trash bag. I don't know why, but that just made me want to do a happy dance, knowing that I was doing everyone a favor. I got back home with the sun partially set, my body sweaty as my dad's after he works in the yard, every accessory on me ready to fall off, and my grandmother pointing out how I'm smiling like a little kid. From now on, I'm keeping this up. Thanks, WALL-E. Yeah. Just cool. Like, the little boost from people driving by being like, good work, thanks for doing that. Like, a lot of people could just drive past, you know, and then
or
this
make
person,
it worse and throw their own trash out the window and go, oh,
you would really hope not.
Those people exist.
Unfortunately.
I don't think they're in the majority, hopefully.
But yeah, when someone is doing good, to like take that extra step to wind down your window and be like, hey, thanks for doing that. Like, just little things like that don't cost you anything. It's just thinking to do it, you know, but it might give that person an extra little boost to go out and do it again, you know. It's every little piece that we can do to help, and then getting those little boosts of recognition just makes it even easier to do those things. So super cool that person had that experience and had a positive time.
And it's good that they're trying to, like, you know, reuse things and find new purpose for them. Like, my mind went to, I don't think you talked on the podcast before. Do you remember? You did a lot of that for leading up to our wedding and stuff, with a lot of DIY stuff, especially from working in the movie theater, the table settings. Yeah,
we had, like, when I was working at the movie theater, we had a receipt roll thing, and like the center part was like black and it kind of looked like a film cartridge. So
it goes the trash normally, or
yeah, we usually just toss them, but for like months, whenever it ran out, I just kept them, and then everyone found out I was doing that, so whenever they were working and one ran out, they'd give them to me. And my boss saw me collecting these things in my little cubby, and he's like, why are you hoarding trash? And I was like, I'm not, okay? They're for a purpose. You will see if you come to our wedding, which he did. And he was like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, we were using those.
I used them as like a
little centerpiece holder, because we had a film themed wedding, and so they were like little film reels, like a little cartridge, and then on top we had like a little card that had our favorite movies on each table, as like, so each table had a movie attached to it as the theme of the table. It was kind of fun.
Wally will be proud.
Wally would be proud.
And now they were sitting in a box in our house somewhere.
All right, on to the next story. So this one comes from that same thread, Today I Am Happy, and it is titled, Today I Am Happy Because I Got an Amazing Surprise at Work. Here we go. I'm a school caretaker, and I've been at my school for just over 20 years. Ever since a new head took over in September, we've been doing a thing called Staff Shoutout, where every other Friday, we only do 2 assemblies a month, a member of staff is nominated by staff and students, and the winner gets a bit of recognition and a free lunch. I never usually attend, as it's more of a teacher thing, but I was asked if I could pop in and fix a chair. I grabbed my tool bag, walked in, and as cliche as it sounds, everyone started clapping. I was nominated. I couldn't believe it. I've been having a really hard time lately. I lost my son a few years back, and due to the strain it placed on us, my wife and I recently divorced. I've been living in a house share situation, and work is all that's keeping me going. I tried my best to stay all calm and collected as the head shook my hand, but I'm sure I was a bit teary. I've given everything to my school, and I've known a couple of the teachers since they were students themselves, so it means so much to be recognized by people you admire, respect, and kind of see as an extension of your family. Just wanted to share my news with everyone. Oh, and the lunch was curry. It was delicious.
Well, that's good. That's an extra plus.
Yeah. So
bummer if it was like, I don't know, haggis or some food that no disrespect to people who like haggis, but that was the first thing I could think of that might be not loved. I don't know.
More divisive.
More divisive, at least maybe in our area.
Lutefisk. I'm just kidding. Although people in our area, there's a lot of people that would probably come fight me for that and say that they love
No,
Lutefisk.
it's not many.
Really?
It's not.
But anyways.
People don't usually eat it in our region for like the enjoyment. It's more so like, yeah, I ate lutefisk. I'm awesome.
That's really funny.
I'm strong.
Funny.
I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that.
Anyways.
That's what we call a tangent.
Yes. But yeah, just giving out recognition. I'm glad that the person that is heading this school decided to start this up, because that's a cool idea in general to nominate teachers to do that kind of thing, you know, showing appreciation and stuff. I think that's really, really cool.
Because you know they're not getting paid enough. All right, I'm not trying to stir controversy here, but teachers deserve more than we give them.
I mean, I agree. I totally agree. So yeah.
'Cause, you know, how often do teachers get brought up in this podcast? A lot.
Because they are amazing.
Yes, and therefore deserve a recognition.
Yes.
And sometimes a free lunch.
Agreed.
One that we like.
Agreed.
That the person likes.
Agreed.
I told you, it's going to be a weird episode.
It's good. It's good. All right. On to our news article for today. This one comes from BBC.com, and it is titled, Pioneering Trial Could Switch Off Arthritis.
Switch off?
Yeah.
Like a robot?
Yeah, kind of. So this is crazy. And once again, I'm going to do my best to summarize the sciencey parts of this. If you want to read all the details yourself, it is down in the description below. I highly recommend it. It's really fascinating. So basically, this study is trying to train the white blood cell commanders, which are like the generals of the immune system, to order other soldier cells to stop attacking healthy tissues, which apparently is what's causing issues like things like rheumatoid arthritis and things like that. And so the study is being run by Newcastle University and Newcastle Hospitals, and they're now in its second phase of this study. So they're taking certain cells and they're separating them from people's blood, and they're kind of trying to retrain them essentially. To quote the article, Professor Isaacs explains there are different types of cells that come together rather like an army of soldiers to attack an infection or a disease. These take instructions from the white blood cells known as dendritic cells, which he refers to as the generals of the immune system. When these generals sense danger, they become excited and send out an attack signal. But when there is no danger detected, they remain calm and instruct the army to ignore healthy tissues. And then when that goes wrong, that's what causes diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. So essentially, it's like white blood cells, these generals getting too trigger happy and being like, we must attack everything, even the healthy ones. Go at it. Mm-hmm. And so by trying to retrain them, it's trying to get them to calm down and not go after everything, basically. Mm-hmm. So they're retraining these generals to make them more calm, and then having them give orders to the soldiers of the immune system not to attack the patient's joints, effectively switching off the disease. Apparently, about 450,000 people in England have rheumatoid arthritis.
Wow.
And there are 18 million people estimated to have rheumatoid arthritis worldwide. So, yeah. What's super cool is that if they can get this to work effectively, which it's looking promising from what it sounds like in this, they're hoping that they can do this exact same thing with other autoimmune diseases like diabetes and multiple sclerosis, so MS, to also basically retrain those cells, those white blood cells, the autoimmune system, not to attack itself and to be more calm. So, yeah, re-education of the immune system. They say it'll probably be about 5 to 10 years before patients will be able to access this type of new medication or new things, these retraining stuff of the immune system, but it's still promising that that's where we're at now and that they're actually working on this and it's looking promising. There was one woman that they had in this article who went through this in the study, and she claims that she thinks it's actually helping quite significantly with her rheumatoid arthritis, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that's super exciting because I know people personally that struggle with rheumatoid arthritis, and it's really challenging, especially when you have jobs like where you're working at a computer and you're typing and stuff like that. Having that arthritis in your hands, it makes it really, really hard from people that I've talked to and stuff. So being able to get rid of that and switch it off so it's no longer attacking the joints, that'd be so, so cool. With that, we will end today's podcast episode. Tune in next Wednesday for our next episode, which is all going to be about stories of heroes. I'm very excited for next week's episode.
Sponsored by Marvel?
No, but there
or
is.
DC?
But there is. Let me double check, make sure it's Marvel or DC, because now I can't remember. There is a Marvel reference in one of the stories. That's pretty cool.
Whoa.
So yeah, if you like Marvel, make sure you tune into next week's
Should
episode.
have timed it up with Thunderbolts, which is out now. Maybe it's good.
One of the titles in the
It
story.
sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound really.
The
I'm
reviews
hoping.
sound good so far.
It looks good. One of the titles is That Time I Got to See Captain America Save the Day. So here we go. Yeah, so tune in next week. And yeah, if you have any positive stories that you'd like to share with us, that would be awesome. You can send them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com, or you can post them on our subreddit, which is Uplift Positive Stories.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment.
That'd be awesome. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
And stay positive.